Today you join me on the upper reaches of the Bristol Channel, where the plan is to fish for smoothhounds. The weather is absolutely glorious and the temperature's got to be touching 26 degrees. We've got a neap tide this afternoon. I think the tide's about 4 o'clock thereabouts, so we've got a good bit of time yet before the tide will recede enough for us to drop down onto the reef and start fishing. I'm going to go and get tackled up. Just while I am setting up, I thought I'd take the opportunity to show you the type of rig that I'll be using today. So it's a simple pulley rig. I'm sure you've all seen it a million times before. The body is constructed of 100 pounds Barclay big game, swivels, Cedra stainless rolling swivels. You possibly can't even see this, but I will explain it to you anyway as I go. The trace line, 80 pound Varivas shock rig. And on the end of there we've got a 3/0 Chinook hook and a big mouth extra. I'll just show you that a bit more clearly. There you go. Now the important thing about fishing over rough ground is that you are going to lose some tackle, so in order to keep that to an absolute minimum I like to use what's known as a rotten bottom. Now this is basically a section of weak line between the lead link, which in this case features the bait clip, and the lead. So if your rig becomes snagged up, you pull for a break and you lose the lead, but you get the rig back and hopefully the fish too if you've got one on. Now this is just basically 20 pound mono. I've actually put a half hitch knot in there as well. You're not going to be casting on that. Obviously if you cast with this, it's going to snap, you're going to cause all sorts of problems. So when we cast, we've simply got an RBC clip on the end of the link. The lead hangs on there, and that is not going to come off. That pivots nicely. Having said that, I wouldn't advise any sort of power casting if there's other people around you when using this kind of arrangement, because that's asking for trouble too. So yeah, that's the basics of it. Simple pulley rig. Those hooks though, I believe, really do make a difference, and keep them sharp as well. If you wind them in and they've got stubbed on the rocks, change them over. It's never worth casting out a blunt hook. So I've just made my first cast. It's about 3 hours before low water at the moment, and it's looking quite good actually. There's a fair bit of tide there. My first cast I put well up tide. There's a 6-ounce lead out there with 16 gauge wires, and I personally find that the 16 gauge wires, being that little bit thicker, they give you that little bit more grip. I also dispense with the rollers. They cause the wires to trip too easily. And I find that the wire itself biting into the lead, it really gives you a good secure grip there. Anyway, that's the first one. It's been out there probably 5 or 10 minutes I expect, so we're going to give that a good 20 minutes to half an hour, and we'll check the bait if we haven't caught a fish by then and see how it's looking. First cast has been out there for probably half an hour or so now. Bait's probably a bit washed out, so I'm going to change it. Let's have a look. It's really important to have a fast retrieve reel on this kind of venue, just so you can keep that gear moving across the top of the rocks. If you've got a small reel, with a slow retrieve, we're just going to get ditched into the seabed. A little bit of weight on this, but I'm thinking it's probably a bit of weed. There was a bit floating around earlier on. Yeah, there we go. A little bit on the leader knot, that's gone through the rings. Definitely don't want to be leaving that on there. There we go. Yeah, so that bait, it's well, it's not looking too sorry for itself, in all honesty. It was probably about the right time to wind it in though, so we'll get the next one out. Well, Smoothhounds could quite literally drive you mad. There 1 minute, gone the next. Had the one small fish this evening, and you know, at least I know they're in the area. That's the main thing. If you know there's fish there, you know, they're probably going to be there on the following tide. So the best thing I can do now is get back home, come back for another go in the morning. I thought we hadn't seen one of these for a little while. Horrible little conger. That just about sums up today's session. As I say, let's come back in the morning, give it another blast.